I did it again. I built me another guitar. Kick it. Check it out. I always wanted a wine red Les Paul. Now I got one. Sorta. This was from a kit, believe it or not. If you go online, look for guitar kits, you'll see these ones. You've probably seen them if you've looked into them at all, by a company called Pango. Thought, I'll give it a shot. The website doesn't tell you a lot about the guitars. Just what the wood is, really. I tell you, it's a mahogany body. It's got a quilted maple top and rosewood fingerboard, blah, blah, blah. That's it. But as far as the electronics, the hardware and all that, it doesn't really say anything about it. I thought, well, for 200 bucks, willing to give it a shot. So I did. Of course, it comes unfinished. It's just raw wood. But the top did look really good. That's what really sold me on it. If you can see all that striping, love it. Looks really good. So I got this sucker out, and it came in the mail pretty quick. The shipping was pretty fast. And I started going at it. First step, Angelus dye. Wine tone is the color. And I did the whole thing in the same color. And I just hit the front, the back, side of the neck, the headstock, everything. And when I first put it on, it was really dark. More like the sides here. And I lost a lot of my striping, and plus everything was the same color. It needs to be, you need different colors. You need to break it up a little bit. So I started taking the Angelus dye also makes a neutral, and I used that. And I started just wiping down the front with neutral, and it started taking back some of the layers or the darkness until I got it to this color. And so I liked that. I left the back and the sides darker, so you can kind of see what the back looks like. And the sides here, I left those darker so the front would pop more, of course. And I was really satisfied with the way it came out. I thought that looked pretty good. I did the neck kind of in between the two, I guess. And once I was done with that, I took some sanding sealer. Now, word to the wise, if you're using sanding sealer, I wanted it in a spray can, but I couldn't find any around here. So I bought just a quart Minwax sanding sealer, and I brushed it on. The problem is, I think I put it on too thick at first, and it made actually, I think it's the heavy wetness of it made some of the color start to run actually, and so it was getting on my binding and stuff again. So if I ever had to do it again, my suggestion would be go at it, if you're using that kind of sanding sealer, to brush it on really thin at first. Just get some on there kind of thin, let it dry, and then just kind of keep coming back with it until you build it up, instead of coming at it kind of hardcore like I did. Then, after I let that set for a day, I came back with the body. I did the Spray Max 2K clear coat, and that worked really well. As you can see, it gives me a nice glossy tone here. I did have a problem with it at first, and it was my fault. I don't have a spray booth. I don't have facilities to spray stuff, right? So I used a clothes hanger and hung the body off the back of my porch. And I started spraying it. The problem was it was very uncharacteristically wind. Like, it was really, the wind just kept kicking up, and it was making a mess. So I stopped. Next day I took it out to the shed and hung it in the doorway. The shed was in the direction that blocks where the wind was coming, so it was nice and calm. And then I was able to just keep hitting the body with it. About every 10 minutes I would spray it. And I did it until the can was pretty much empty. So there's a lot of clear coat on here. But yeah, then I came back, sanded it back, and used rubbing compound from Meguiar's. And then I used Meguiar's Carnauba paste wax to buff it out. And yeah, it came out pretty good. I was pretty satisfied with it. Now for the neck, I didn't want a glossy neck. So with this one, after I did the sanding sealer, I came back and hit it with just True Oil and smoothed it out nice. And so it's got a little bit different, more of a satiny feel on the back, more of a raw wood feel which I like those on the neck. It makes it feel really good when you're playing. The face I did in the 2K as well, because when you put the decals on, it needs to be on some type of coating of red, or saw in videos anyway. So I did do the 2K on the face of the headstock as well. So the kit comes with everything: hardware, electronics, pickups, wiring, everything. The wiring is even pre-wired and soldered. The problem I had with it was, here's the deal I made with myself. I'm going to use everything that came with it, and if I find a reason to change it, I will. Like the tuning keys. These tuning keys are stamped Grover, but I can tell as I turn them, they don't feel like the other Grover tuners that I have. There's some play in them. But having said that, the guitar's been staying in tune pretty well. So for now, I'm going to leave them. If I start having problems with them, I'll just swap them out with some others. But the pre-soldered harness that it came with, the wiring harness, the pots were really tiny, these little bitty tiny pots. They were stamped 500K, but when I wired everything up, stuck it in there, it didn't work. I mean, I could get some sound out of the front pickup if I maneuvered some things around a little bit. It was just wonky. So I took everything out and I bought 4 CTS pots. I bought 2 orange drop capacitors. I bought a package of 22 gauge guitar wire from Art of Tone. And it's the kind of wire that has the cloth shielding, so you can just pull it back, solder it, push the cloth back over. You don't have to strip it. It's good. It's supposed to be really good wiring for guitars, and so I bought that. And I went ahead at my local music store down here, Andrew's Music, and he had the only guitar pickup he had in there that was gold covered like this was a Seymour Duncan distortion pickup. And I'm so glad that's what he had, because this pickup sounds killer. So I bought that, and I went in and I just got the Les Paul wiring diagram offline. And this is the modern, because you can go vintage wiring or modern wiring. I went the modern wiring. It was actually from a YouTube video. I did a screenshot of the wiring the wiring diagram, and I just followed that wiring diagram, and I just wired everything up. I did break down and buy a decent soldering gun. My other soldering gun was kind of cheap. So I bought Harbor Freight had one for $45, and it had a base, and it comes off, and it's got the little thing where you can clean it with the wire brush thing. It's got the sponge. It got some tip tinner, some flux, got some lead-free rosin core solder. So I got some good stuff. And once I got that, the soldering joints went real smooth. Just everything just went together beautifully after that. Having said that, as soon as I got everything wired up, plugged it up, everything worked. I didn't have everything worked. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe it. So I was pretty pleased with that. I did have one problem with the pots. The holes that came pre-drilled for the pots were for those little bitty tiny pots, and the shafts were skinny. These CTS pots wouldn't fit through the hole. So I used my tapered reamer. If you watch my last video on the other build I did, I showed you the tapered reamer where I had to route out the peg holes for the tuning keys to put in the more modern tuners. And I used that from the back side, just came in and routed it out a little bit until it got big enough for the pots to go in. And yeah, that worked pretty good. So I was pretty pleased with that. And then I ordered a decal here. If you can't read that, it says Bushy. If you didn't watch my last video, you'll know this was a dedication to my wife, who had passed away in January after a 2.5-year battle with cancer. Her name was Laura, and her nickname was Laura Bush. My son named her that, actually, the first time he ever met her. You're Laura Bush, because she was First Lady back then. And that name just stuck with her for some reason. Everybody called her Bush, or Bushy. I called her, my kids, her kids, my parents, our friends, everybody. How's Bush? What's Bush up to? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, Bush. She was just Bush. So this is the Bushy Paul. The other one was a Bushy Caster. This is a Bushy Paul. So yeah, I think she would have been pleased with this. She loved Les Paul. She really was a big fan of the Les Paul, and she really liked the wine red. So there you go. The only problem I had with the guitar, as far as the parts themselves, like the body and everything, the wood felt like good quality. The veneer top is very thin, so I did not sand it. It felt good, like it was ready to go. My original plan was I was going to go over it with black and then sand it down and then hit it with the wine red. But you could see when you look in the cavity here where the pickups go, you could see the actual veneer, and it looks really thin, like almost paper thin. So I was afraid I may sand through it. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go at it and just leave the black out of it because I didn't want to have to sand it that much. And I'm happy with it, though. I thought it turned out pretty good. It's a pretty sexy girl, just like Bushy. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with it. I did switch out the switch as well. Wasn't a big investment. I just bought another switch. And so yeah, it's kind of part kit, part upgrades. All in all, probably around $400 total invested in this guitar. Oh, I didn't finish my story. The only problem I had with it, it was fretting out in certain areas. I noticed on the top string, the E string on the 7th fret was buzzing pretty bad. After I got it set up the way I wanted it, I was able to spot that one, and just I had my file, and I was able to take this other fret down a little bit to bring it, and it did okay. But I was having really bad trouble up here, and it was just clunk, clunk, clunk. And it was really frustrating, mainly on the E string, but even up here, I was having it fretted out a little bit to where the note didn't ring like it's supposed to. You could just tell something's not right. It sounded like the note was being choked a little. So I read up on how to level frets. Problem is I don't have all the tools to do it. And I didn't really want to buy all the tools to do it because I feel like it's probably only something I'm going to do this one time, more than likely. So I just took it to my guy Andrews down there and just let him level it. And yeah, it works much better now. You can hear that. It's fine. Now I got no more fretting, because it was horrible before. It was like, and then it would be okay. And then up here it was okay. And here in the middle, it was right like around 17, 18, 19, and 20. Those frets right there, that was not very good. So anyway, after a fret leveling, plays pretty good now. It's actually a pretty... I'm really pleased with how it turned out. These pickups, these Seymour Duncan pickups are killer. The front pickup is the stock pickup that came with it. If you can hear what kind of... So I don't use the front pickup that much anyway, so that's why I didn't invest in another pick. I thought, I'll just leave it, see how it sounds. To me, it sounds all right. But yeah, I was pretty pleased with it. It is a glue-in neck. I did use Type Bond 3 wood glue for that, which, according to my research, seems to be a pretty common type of glue people use for this sort of project. The glue dries in about 30 minutes, but you don't want to put any pressure on the joint for 24 hours. So what I did was I stood it up, and I was sitting there at my kitchen table, and I was watching TV in the living room while I put the glue. I used a little sponge paintbrush. I brushed the glue on the neck. I think they call it the neck tenon, and in the pocket, I just spread the glue around nice and good, not too thick but not too thin. Just gave it a nice coating. And I slapped it in there and held it in place, and I held it in place for 30 minutes because I was afraid if I put the clamps on it while it was still maneuverable, I was afraid it might move the neck and I wouldn't see it. And then my neck would be at a crazy angle when it dried hard. So I sat there and held the sucker in place for 30 minutes, just watching TV, chilling. And then when I hit the 30-minute mark, I put some towels over the string, like over the fretboard, and a little block of wood. And I did the same on the back, and I used 2 C-clamps. And just held it there for 24 hours. And yeah, it's feels solid. So anyway, this was a different build. You know, building a Les Paul type guitar versus building a Stratocaster type guitar with parts. You know, it's a different animal, it's different things. You know, my last guitar was one EMG humbucker pickup. That was it. There was no soldering. This one had a ton of soldering with a 3-way switch. I mean, you know, there was a little more to it. This guitar took me a little longer to build. The decal I got off Amazon. There's a place there you can order them. They come, this one came from Canada, and it took about 2 weeks to get it in. So allow for that, because it's got to go through customs and all that. But thankfully they send 2, which was good because I ruined the first one. If you read the instructions, it tells you to drop it in water for 30 seconds and then pull it out and slide it onto the spot. The problem was, okay, I put it in had a little cup of water, 30 seconds. The problem is, in 30 seconds, the decal slid off the paper in the cup. So I had to fish it out of there, and I tried to get it on there, but the problem is the top part of the H had flipped over, and I couldn't get it to come out from under it. So I finally just scrapped it, and I tried it again. The second time, cut it out, got it all close as I could, and I held it in the water for about 15 seconds and kind of wiggled it, nothing. I held it back in about another 10, and then it started to slide. So then I laid it on, and then you do it like you see on the videos where you just slide the paper out from under it. Perfect, no problem. After I let that dry, I came back at the face of it. I think I let it set overnight. Then I came back and I couldn't use the 2K because the 2K is no good after 48 hours. So I just used a can of Minwax lacquer, and I hit it probably 5 or 6 coats of lacquer, sanded it back a little once it hardened up, and using about, I think I was using 1200 grit sandpaper. Anyway, sanded it back a little bit. I'll be honest, I didn't sand it as much as I should because I was afraid I was going to sand this off. I did not trust that lacquer was on there that good, and I was going to sand it off, so I didn't sand it back like I really should have. Same with the body. I could have sanded it more, but to me, I'm happy with how it came out. And I did the same thing, compound, and then that paste wax to shine up the thing. So yeah, all in all, worked out pretty good, Like so it was fun. If you get a chance, you got any inkling whatsoever you want to build your own guitar, just do it. Just try it. It's not a super big investment. And just there's a ton of video. Any problem you will encounter, there is a video out there that will tell you how to fix it. And just be patient and don't try to rush things. Sometimes I get a little impatient. It's part of my problems, and I may screw it up a little bit, but come back and fix it later. But all in all, I'm satisfied with it. Probably weight-wise, I don't have a way to hang it to weigh it. I would say it weighs about the same as my Epiphone Les Pauls. It's not as heavy as my Gibson Les Paul. That one's a monster. But the Epiphones, it weighs about the same. It's got a nice heft to it, but it's not too heavy. It's not like, ugh. But yeah, feels pretty good. I would say probably 8.5 pounds if I was guessing. But yeah, I like it. So there you go. Look at that cover. It's nice. The inlays, I believe, are plastic though. They kind of got a mother of pearl look to them, but they seem a little plasticky. I don't think that's real mother of pearl. I mean, it could be, but I don't think it is. Again, it doesn't say on the website what they're made out of. So anyway, just Give it a shot. It's a lot of fun building a guitar. I would like to do it again. The problem is I can't. What am I going to do with them? You know, I've already built 2 in the last 3 months. I don't want to keep piling them up around here, and it's not like anybody's going to want to buy one. So, anyway, you'll learn a lot in the process of building. You'll learn how to, when you encounter a problem, how to fix it, and you'll learn a lot about working on your own guitars just by trying to build one. So, anyway, it was fun. I'm gonna give this one a workout. I'm gonna take this one to my next gig. I'm gonna give it a whirl and see how it plays. Sounds good, plays good. I think it's gonna be fine. So anyway, y'all take it easy out there. Be nice to everybody. It doesn't cost you a thing. Peace.